McLean and Williams easement. Donnie, what'd you find out about that?
I went out and looked at where the survey was, and actually met with Mr. McLean, and we walked it out and looked at it. And part of it's actually in the floodplain, which will get us in trouble. It won't meet NEPA Clean Water Act deals. And I talked to both owners, Angela and her son Lauren, and I'm meeting with Lauren Saturday to look at an alternative route. Okay, and in the process, Cal and I looked at the same alternative route, and then we want to bring in John Metters, County Commissioner, so we can try to get the city, the county, and both parties that are involved together and find a solution for it where everybody's happy.
Sean contacted his wife, this is on the agenda. He wants us either to vote yes or no tonight. So if you want
Well,
to make a
and
motion
see
for
that
no, that's fine.
well, and no, saying we're not interested in doing it.
The attorney's going to move forward. We're being sued, which it sounds like we'll get sued anyway.
Well, I'm trying to figure out if the owners are telling me that they want to sit down, why a third party, a fourth party.
Yeah. Well, the attorney to the person that originally was selling the property, I think is the one that we're dealing with.
Okay, we're not dealing with the new owners that want the road.
No, we're dealing, evidently it was a stipulation with the owner that sold it to with the old owner that sold it to the new property owner. It was evidently a stipulation that he got that easement taken care of for them to continue possession of the property. I'm not sure. We haven't talked to the new owner at all.
Okay, I have.
I don't
both
know
of
if
them.
you've talked to Sean,
John hadn't spoken to me about it at all.
but he said.
So that's the problem with this whole situation. We got three different people doing three different things.
Well, what is the problem with giving the McLeans an easement? Wherever it is, what's the problem?
McLean, he's already got an easement.
Okay, what about Williams?
Williams' easement's in the floodplain and it will not meet NEPA regulations for the
Okay,
clean
can
water.
we give them an easement upon the stipulation that we figure out where that easement's supposed to be?
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to giving them an easement, but.
I make a motion
But do
that
I sit there and talk to the previous owners to get?
No.
Okay.
No, but I make a motion that we give the Williams an easement.
Well, explain to me.
Mr. McLean, I'm leaving it just the way it is in my motion. So we can give the Williams, which is the new property owner, an easement to get to their property, unless there's some reason that somebody can tell me why we shouldn't do that.
If it's out of the drainage area.
Who's going to pay for
The
this?
town of Talihina is gonna pay for anything that happens because we're liable for that. Just like we're liable for
Improvements
your
that I've
road.
already been out?
No, sir.
Okay.
Anything up to this,
That's what
nobody.
my attorney says I can sue for.
You
is those
can't,
improvements.
you can if you want to,
Yes.
but I think you did that so that you could build a house there upon that property. So if you wanna sue the town,
I did,
then
but
that's
I've
fine.
still been out those improvements, and somebody needs to either reimburse me for those improvements, or.
Well, then you can
or
pursue
I
that,
take care of
yeah.
it. Who's gonna fix
The
it?
town of Talihina is gonna take care of it from here on out.
Okay.
We assumed that at the last year when we had meetings that we
Okay, the
talked
town
about
of
that.
Talihina agreed to go out and fix it, this is 6 months ago, and it's not fixed yet.
Donnie's been talking to someone about that, and if it hasn't been fixed, I'm not aware of that.
It has not been fixed as of today.
Donnie, why has that not been fixed as of
Well,
today?
because Keith finally went out there when Keith was made aware of it and we voted on it, but he went out there, I asked him to go out there and he went out there. I don't know who went. And they dug it out and put the deal in and we're waiting
Are we
for,
gonna need this to the Williams, or are we gonna need it to the county?
We're not deeding anything to anyone,
Okay,
we're allowing an easement to the
You
Williams.
gonna give that easement to the county, or you gonna give it to the?
We're giving it to the Williams.
Okay, the Williams can transfer that easement at any time they decide to, which includes the original real estate agent, who is the one that has.
We're not touching your easement, it's gonna stay the way it is now.
Okay,
The only thing we're doing is gonna give the Williams, if it passes, the only thing
That's
we're
what I'm
doing is gonna give the Williams an easement.
my easement has the improvements and the expense of the bridge, which is the big.
so we need to re-vote on
Somebody-
an easement to
Nobody
Cal.
can hold him responsible for something that the city owns. We've been through this before.
Well,
The county would not take that road or that bridge because they don't want to be out any money. We have no choice. It's our responsibility to take care of it, period.
what does Cal's easement say?
Cal's easement is a very broad policy that's not even really the proper easement he needs. That's why the city attorney said give them both the same easement. I'm willing to
Do
leave
you wanna
his
see
easement
my
just.
attorney's opinion, on the
No, sir, I
abstract that I've
don't.
done?
No,
I had to
sir.
pay $5,000 to get that title abstracted for that easement.
Okay.
So I've got it abstracted, I've got it
So, do
surveyed.
you not want the Williams to have the easement? Is
I
that your
don't care if
point?
they have an easement as long as I have someone to agree to fix it in a timely basis, which that real estate agent would not do.
Fix what in a
The
time?
road.
The bridge, the
Like
road,
if it washes out or
if
whatever?
it washes out or whatever. If
That's-
it's deeded to the county will be there tomorrow to fix it.
The county will not take that. John Meadows told me.
Have you talked to the county?
Yes, I
commissioner?
have.
I talked to the county commissioner and he told me.
He told me, he came to my office and said, no.
He told me he would take it if they would make improvements.
If who would,
If the people that was getting a new easement would make the improvements to the
he
bridge.
hasn't came and talked to me at all. He came and told about that. He came and told me, I do not want this. I'm giving it back to you. I don't want it. We don't have the money and we don't want anything to do with it. That's
Yeah,
what
he didn't
John
tell me that.
Meadows told me.
He told me that he would approve it if the recipients of the new easement would make the improvements necessary.
To the bridge.
That's what he told me.
The recipient of the new easement
Which
would
was the
make
real
the
estate agent at that
improvements.
Well, that really doesn't matter, because what we
Yeah.
need to do tonight is give the easements to
Has
the
nothing
new
to do with
owners.
improvements.
We've already said that the city is responsible from this point on. If we can work a deal with Mr. Metters and he will agree to go back and take this road, we can revisit and send the
That's
paperwork
what I'm saying. Let's
to do it,
revisit
to do it
the
again. We've already done it
With the
once.
correct easement, with the correct right of way.
Right. But we still need to go ahead and give them an easement, just like you already have your easement. I agree that it
Their
would have been.
easement will not be like Cal McLean.
It is a much better easement, right? It makes
Yes.
clear.
That's going to be in the
I second
floodway
that.
where it shouldn't be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We can't approve it where it's at right now on the survey.
That's not what we're doing. We're approving an easement upon the stipulation that you and the city attorney get together and figure out where that easement is.
Well, and the Cal and the new owners and,
Whoever you want to incorporate in that is fine with me. I'm making. a
because
motion.
everybody has to,
Give
everybody
me
has
an
to be
easement.
I
involved.
second
And I
that.
have a second. Any more discussion?
Okay, so the
Vote.
motion, repeat the motion to me.
Donnie?
Repeat.
We're giving the
Rep-
Williams an easement upon the stipulation that you and Sean and whoever the property owners are, get together and finalize that easement.
The location of the easement.
The location or anything else you want on that easement. But we're gonna move forward with this easement. Okay? Vote.
Donnie,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Gina.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. Item number, let's see, is there anything else on here? No action on item number 3 tonight. No action on 4, no action on 5. Item number 6, discussion action on the purchase of a TV for fire department training.
Gary approached me about this, and we can actually hold off on this to the regular meeting if we need to.
How soon is that training?
I'm not real sure how soon the training, Roy, do you know how soon any training?
I have no clue.
Okay, I can call him real quick, but
But
I intended for it to go on the other one. I
Okay,
just
so
misunderstood.
just no
Yeah,
action.
just take no action on that.
Maybe we can get someone to donate something to them.
Well,
I thought they have a TV, but it's a small TV or something, because they've been doing trainings down there.
yeah,
I
I
think
think
they
they
can
have
do
the
training
ones
on
that
small,
can't see
yeah.
that TV.
Okay, so you're just gonna get back on?
Yes.
Okay. All right, discussion action on 2013, 2015 budget. Hopefully everybody's had time to look at that. Bear in mind while you're looking at it, this is a budget for 2013-14, not 14-15. So unless somebody has a way that we can change something within 3 months' time, we might as well focus on the 2014-15 budget and make changes. We're actually over the budget, which we all know. We have been evidently over the budget for about the last 4 years now. It's just now being brought to our attention.
And
So it's not anything new.
well, we brought in 650,000 and we're spending
We
797,000.
will by the time the end of the year, so yes, which is illegal, but what are you gonna do to correct that?
Well, we're not between now and June, but there is some outlay. I know there's some extra
We've already
outlay.
spent most of the money. What do we have that has to do from now until?
Well, we have some outlay in the police department that hasn't been spent. We have, what's this fire capital outlay? I'm sorry, Mary,
That's okay.
015305.
Okay, if you'll just give me a moment and I'll catch up with you. Capital outlay, that is going to be a payment on a truck in the amount of $11,000 and approximately $500, which I made about a week ago. And then if you'll give me just a moment, I'll find the balance on that for you.
Okay.
You said 5305?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Okay, it was 11,346. It's already all been expended. It was 11,346 for payment number 3 on a fire truck. Those are annual payments, will be paid off with the last payment in the year 2017. There were 2 other expenditures, one for 4,400, one for 2,000 even in September of this year for some antenna and repeater installations.
Okay. Now, on the tax that they get from the county, is that not supposed to go to pay for those trucks?
No, you couldn't use it for that. No. We bought that upon the stipulation we could use it for that. After we made the purchase, we realized that we couldn't use that money for that. So that's why we're in the bind. One of the reasons we're in the bind we are.
And how much is in their budget from that tax? Do we know?
We haven't started. Have we started? Well, who knows?
Yeah, they have that money.
Yeah, they have
but it is
And
not
it's-
given to
it's
us or
not-
shown to us.
Yeah. Do you have any idea?
I'm
about
not
the fire
aware of
department tax?
which tax is it, please?
It's a county, was it 529 or what? Something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it's
When
a,
we purchased the fire truck, that's why we purchased it, because we thought we were gonna be able to use that tax to make the payment. After the purchase, we found out we weren't. The
I'm
question is, where's that money, do you know?
I'm completely unfamiliar with that particular tax revenue. Do you know another name?
well, I don't know, it's a county fire, they get it from the County Fire Association.
The only amount that I received that is dedicated strictly for the fire department is an annual from Keto. It's in the amount of $4,400 and change, and that's for their operating.
No, that's a 50/50, isn't it, Wayne?
I don't know.
That's probably the 50/50 grant.
Well, I don't know about that either. I was not told anything about 50/50. I was just told to spend it all on operating from
Right.
Keto. But I'm not familiar. If you guys know who dispenses that tax, I'd be happy
It's
to.
Well, it's the County Fire Association, isn't it,
The
Wayne?
County Fire Association dispenses it. They do not
Well,
give the
obviously,
money to us to dispense. The fire department has to submit invoices or purchase orders over there and
Yeah.
dispense that away. It's a 5% county tax that is divided among the 11 or 12 of the 4 county fire departments.
That's
there.
what-
obviously,
20.
we haven't gotten anything since Mary has been here,
Right.
because we would have known
But
that.
I'll tell you what,
So-
I'll start with Brian Hoodman because he's super smart with fire department money, and then I'll work through the county association and see, because I actually segregate every one of their expenditures and track that fund separately. So if there is, or any of their expenses that would be eligible, it's going to be very, very easy for me to file for.
Sure.
Thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Not much more we can do between now and June, I guess. But how do you, I mean, what good does it do us to
Is all the
approve?
fire maintenance money spent, Mary?
The fire maintenance money, are you talking about, my understanding with that Keto is it's for operating.
Okay, this is the, you have $2,820 for fire maintenance.
Oh, I understand, okay, I'm sorry, what's that account number, please?
5,300.
Okay, if you'll give me just a moment, I'll refer to that.
That's just kind of what I think we're going to do. is
Sure,
go down
and
to
let me
each of
just
these
double
departments and
check,
see.
I misunderstood your question to start. $5,300 for fire maintenance, let's see. 20, plus 500, let's see, period today was. Yes, ma'am, that has already been expended.
Are you aware of the other maintenance ones, if they're all expended or
Not off
not?
the top of my head, we have to take it on a case-by-case basis. And
Vehicle
most-
repair,
Okay, will you give me an account number?
5301.
5301. We've expended $1,523.99. So let me qualify that by saying, that's for September through January. There are some months in there that Trudy was responsible for that nothing is entered into the computer. So I had to leave a wiggle room in case there's a surprise waiting for me in July and August. And then of course we have a few months left. So that's why I bumped that one to 2.
So there's about $400 there.
In theory.
Is that something that you know would be, if you had something break, do you think that's something that would be qualified?
Can you not come back in and amend this budget, like at the next meeting, if you find out you need to spend that money somewhere else? Why would we change
Well-
anything now just upon an assumption? I mean, I
It's
see
not
what
balanced,
but I see what you're saying, but if we need to use that money on something else, the meeting we spend that money, we can amend the budget and move it.
Yeah, but where are we gonna move it from?
That's where she's asking questions now, and that's why I was
I'm
saying.
just trying to say, we're short 150,000, is there some, and no way we can get it balanced in 3
Right,
months.
right.
But can we get that down?
Okay, then my question for you would be, and I don't mean this in any ugly way, since the balance is not budget, budget is not balanced. Typically, when you vote to do something like Jackie said, well, we need 500 more for prior vehicle repair, you have to decide what budget you're gonna take it from. You don't have any other budgets to take it from, so I just don't know how that would work when you already have a shortfall. That would be my question.
It's gonna be your
Procedurally,
bottom
I
number.
don't know the answer to that.
Unless there's something in this budget you can take totally out,
Okay.
which you can't, because we've already spent most of the money.
5102, is it?
5102,
Yeah,
is that police?
Yeah, is it all used up
Let me,
on maintenance?
police maintenance, let's see, how much did we budget for that?
62.
Yeah, it's either been spent or it's dedicated, because monthly out of that, we have fleet, and then we also have Department of Public Safety at $350 a month.
So that's
for-
under maintenance?
Yes, it is. Yeah, some of them for lack of an account on the books, and Lord
Right.
knows I don't want to add any. What was that one we came up with today, Rhonda, that was so squirrely? The phone was being put under maintenance. Which one was that for? Was that senior citizens or something? Yeah, it was senior citizens that we were like, why is there a
Yeah,
balance
those
there?
were,
And I just don't want to add any accounts right now. But yes, it's either expended or it's already pledged. And keep in mind, when we work on the next one, I will be able to cut a little bit of these. Although I tried to segregate these old expenses out of there, there are some of them, for example, in this account that Donnie just asked me about, which was 150-102 police maintenance. Oh man, there were hundreds of dollars in penalty fees where stuff wasn't paid on time. So there is going to be some to shave off next
I
time.
think we're talking more like, I know you're saying
Yes,
hundreds,
ma'am.
but
Yes,
we're in
ma'am.
the thousands.
And I understand, yes ma'am. Yes ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Gina has some information for us
Okay.
about the fire tax.
Gary said that the county tax is based on the collections they get for the month. He said what they usually get is after they take a portion of this for the truck payment. The county takes out $1,800 for the truck payment, is what he just said.
I didn't think we could use
Well,
that for the truck
It
payment.
wasn't the truck we bought, it was the other truck
It's the
that
one
was.
the county, yeah.
Yes, the one the county.
Okay, the county,
Yes,
okay,
so
different.
it's the other
So it's
truck.
not anything that we even have a note
No.
on. It's some, so the county is keeping part of that money to pay
Right.
for a truck that they gave us.
How did that work?
It was the
another.
second, it was the second truck they went and got,
Right,
and they,
So in the
it
long
went
run,
through the county, it was
Yeah, the
all through
county.
the county.
right, and so the county is keeping part of that
Right.
county money.
yes, they take $1,800 about off the
Are
top
you talking about per year?
Per
per
month.
month.
Per month?
And then it leaves them with about $500 or $600 left over depending on the collections for them.
But it comes to the town, right?
No,
No.
that's what I'm trying to figure out, what's their,
It goes to the county.
no, what goes to them is set aside for them for
Through the
certain
county.
things, through the county.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What they do is they have to send in receipts
Receipts,
and
invoices.
invoices and
So
then
we
they.
probably haven't been doing that since we haven't been getting the
Oh, no,
money.
I think Gary.
I think Gary is.
well,
Yeah,
then
they
where's
are.
that being
Where's the
accounted for?
money?
Because that should be a flow through on our books. I mean, they
No,
should be.
no, it
handling
doesn't come
those
through the city, but my point is, we need to know what that budget is, so we're not duplicating that budget
How
with
could
this
the
money.
fire department buy anything that doesn't come through the city and has a PO on it?
Because it goes to the county.
It doesn't matter, this is the Talihina Fire Department.
I know, but you'll have to talk to the fire association to find those rules, but that's how that works.
Well, then we don't even know what they're buying, or,
That's what I'm saying,
What
we
they have,
need to get
or-
control of what's going on.
Well,
I mean, I'm not saying that's a
no,
bad
I
thing,
know, and
but-
I think there's control. I'll just,
so who's buying the things that, who's getting reimbursed for the things?
but
I mean, is
see,
Ryan
there
buying
are
the
things
things that are
like,
reimbursing?
because they always usually let us know, don't they? Didn't they
I've
let you
never
know?
No, we have
I've never
absolutely
known
no
anything.
knowledge. I have no knowledge of this.
And
There have
you've
been
here
times
since-
they have-
This
Who
is a tax through the whole county.
Right.
Right, but
But still
sales
someone
taxes
somewhere
through
ought
the
to be.
state. I mean, we still get.
I can remember when it was a big deal
Let me just.
a year or so ago, and
I think it's great that they're getting that money, but why would we not know
We
what
should be
they're
the float on
purchasing
that.
and?
Okay, I'm gonna.
I think we need to look into it and figure out what their budget is through that, so we can figure out what their budget is through us.
If they have a
And tie it
budget through the
together.
county, they may not need any money from us.
That's my point.
Except for
And,
the utilities and
Can we
whatever.
run like their telephone or their utilities or something?
Well,
like that?
TV, or, you know, I mean,
Why can't they buy the TV through
yeah,
that?
that's my point is, let's try to figure out what they're getting so we don't duplicate
Well,
it here
yeah.
when we need it elsewhere.
I think Donnie, you're over that department, so maybe you can find out,
Yeah,
what have you got reimbursed for since this tax started? What have you, purchased that you got reimbursed?
Well, I'm in the process of having an individual come over
Because
and
that's-
talk about ISO and stuff, because if we can lower the ISO for the town, it saves everybody
Well, I
money.
can tell you right now, Hall
And,
Creek got changed to a 6, and a Hall Creek can get a 6. Why can Talihina not get a 6?
That's what I'm saying.
Donnie,
And,
when you do that, would you
That's
just
ridiculous.
please keep me in the loop on the information in the event that there is something that needs to happen on the accounting side?
Yeah,
so can
I
understand?
definitely will.
Thank you.
But I'm in the process of bringing in the president of the Firemen's Association and another individual to
If you can
meet.
find out about this tax, though, we can know that before the budget.
Yeah, it runs around 2,000 to 3,000 a month. What they do is whatever comes in on the sales tax as part of your sales tax, they divide it between, I think, 26 or 28 fire departments in the LaFleur County. There's a bunch.
Probably wouldn't hurt to have an inventory,
Yeah.
but we need to know.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
not have.
I've been looking at some inventory systems.
Because,
I wanted to
gosh,
go
if we don't
over.
even have any grips.
Well, we
on
need to
what
know
we
that,
got.
to know if the hoses are up to date and different things like that, to make sure that we're,
Well, like I
and in
said,
fact, Wayne, help me out here. You're part of, is it the FEMA workshop we have to go to? What is it?
floodplain.
No, it's not floodplain. Well, there's floodplain's part of that, but there's a deal we have to go through fire and stuff to be certified too, isn't it? Oh, you're not? Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting
What's
that.
the other one?
And,
Oh, and I need to ask you something. Okay.
But-
Okay, so we got that question answered, and basically, we don't know what they're getting.
I'll sit down with, I've talked to Gary and we're planning on sitting down and start looking at
Can you
budgets and
please be
stuff.
diplomatic about that?
Gary and I get along just fine.
Well, okay. There's an agenda item on here that's not under your name. The TV. And I think it's because he didn't feel comfortable about calling you, so you need to just make sure that you keep that open.
I think he ran into me at he's over at the.
And that's fine, but, you
And I
know,
don't care whose it comes under. I mean, it doesn't bother me.
but let's practice lifting with each other up instead of putting each other down, and then that way we can move forward. And, because that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work.
Where are we at on the budget?
Okay, anything else for the budget?
Look, yeah, I have,
Plenty. Do we want to pay for
What do we got
What
that's
I
plenty
wanna
that's gonna
know
make a change?
on the fire runs, well, I wanna know why we have no collection on rural fire runs. Here's Gary.
That we have collected?
No,
Probably because they haven't been billed.
I haven't
I was
watched this
guessing.
time either.
Gary said that they have an account with the county and use the purchase order system so they don't handle any money. The county pays the bills that they submit.
But we need to know what are they submitting and
Right, and he just needs to, well, it's not
usually
like-
just.
But we'll sit down and figure it out for the new budget.
Gotcha. So.
Yeah, this budget, the only thing that concerns me about this budget, where does it legally put us as a council to vote for a budget that puts us in a hole?
I can't answer that question, but, we have to have a budget. We have to have a budget.
Can we ask Sean? Now, to me, this meeting is to actually look at the budget. We could actually approve it at the first of the month. In the meantime, ask Sean the legality of where it puts us legally as a council.
And we did. We did ask Sean that, and he sat right here and
Mary,
said,
do you have a way
we
of
need to ask an
contacting Sean?
accountant
Of course,
as a
yes.
lawyer.
Would you call him and
Yeah,
ask
ma'am.
him if we can
And
adopt
he
the
said
budget?
that.
Well-
That puts us in the hole.
All I know is that it says we legally can't do it. And I don't know where that puts us.
We're
As
not
individuals.
150,000 in the hole yet, we just will be
Well,
as of June.
Well, yeah, and we're
But we're
not,
not in the hole yet.
I know that, but
My,
And yeah, those rural fire department lines, who's
I mean,
who's
zero.
billing, who's billing for those?
And I-
We haven't collected any for
Well, you know, I've
a year.
been wondering about billing on fire department at all, because people come in here and pay, but Liddell, is there supposed to be any invoicing done on that?
Brian, they
Brian
do
did
their
it
billing.
Okay.
at the first of the year, or whenever he does it, first of the year is an example.
Mhm.
Sends out letters to the people that have,
subscriptions.
that
We're
have
not a
purchased
subscription
before.
fire department.
No, it's not subscribed.
That's not what she's talking about. I think she's talking about. if
You're
they
talking
go
about
on a
membership
fire-
dues,
No,
right?
Right, I'm talking
She's
about
talking
if they
about
go on a
membership
run,
dues.
which they go a lot to.
If they bill someone for a house
And we
fire.
have a
When,
zero.
I know that when Brian was on there, a couple of years ago, he brought me some that he had billed. And,
Well,
but
that,
I
but,
don't bill them.
but
I
okay,
don't
you
even know
collect that
that.
money, where does it go?
The town, to the fire department,
General
general fund.
Okay,
So we need that, if we're gonna have that as a line item on there, we probably need to somehow allocate that money to where it doesn't show that we collected zero in the future.
Are you talking about the rural runs? No, I think you guys are confusing the two. We haven't gotten
We have a
any money this
membership
year.
fee.
We don't have memberships.
It's so
Why would we have memberships?
It's a membership to the Talihina Fire Department that you pay $35 a year. Should you live outside the city limits, and you come in and pay $35 a year, you won't be charged the $500 fire
Yes,
run.
And then that's subscription.
that's been a long
We're not a
time.
subscription fire department.
Well, that's what that is.
I know, but we're not a subscription fire department.
I don't know, it was going on when I came, so I.
See, that's just it, it's
Subscription
been on
fire
there.
department.
So when they went out to Whitesboro and helped on that barn fire, if they didn't have the $35 membership fee, they should be billing
Bill,
$500.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking other town. Like,
Well,
okay,
but
say for
if they-
instance, out at my house, I call, I have a fire, and they come out and I pay my $30, then I'm not charged that $500 for a fire run, because I paid $30 a year.
Kinda
to
like
keep
an
them on
ambulance
hand,
out
whatever.
And you guys may be able to help too.
That's great,
Yeah,
but we're not a
exactly.
subscription fire department. We should not be collecting
I
subscription
think the
dues.
board did this years ago.
That's
They've been doing it for
Well,
a
we're
long
not a
time.
subscription fire
It
department.
was going when I came.
So
I
what's
used
the
to go
difference in
through-
that and when they just go to assist Whitesboro Fire Department?
Exactly.
You don't get anything on an assistant.
Or they went
As
to
a
Buffalo
voluntary fire
Valley and
department.
assisted.
As a volunteer fire department, you're
John.
responsible for a certain area anyway.
You pay dues, right, in Buffalo Valley?
I don't,
Are they
I
available?
don't even know if it's
But
available.
they're a subscription fire department. So yes, you're supposed to pay dues and they don't bill you if they come to a fire, but you haven't been approached about that, so you don't
Like
know.
if Whitesboro or Albion calls us to assist them, they have mutual aid agreement.
Right.
so-
And with each fire department.
And we're out of our jurisdiction when we go there. We're out of our,
When we leave.
It's like Wilmerton
Our
came over
area.
and helped us at Cobbessy Kitchen that time, when they brought their big ladder truck.
well, we need to find out why we're charging subscriptions if we're not a subscription fire department.
Who would you like to delegate that to?
Lonnie?
Well,
And we need to find out what difference it make you pay a subscription or not, you're not gonna get charged.
Exactly. no.
Yeah, really,
Well, maybe
but
we
if
need to
we're
go up on that.
collecting, where are we
Or
going?
could this be more like the Friends of the Library Fund? This is just something that you do to help out, to give them a little extra.
well, I
Doesn't
think
sound
it's
like it.
like.
I don't think you can do
You pay
that.
your $50 fee a year to evac, and you don't have to pay your bill. If you're
You're
life
not-
flighted or, you know.
You're not supposed to be able to obtain things in a rural area if you have a rural fire department such as Buffalo Valley. You're not supposed to be able to purchase things such as insurance unless you have a paid subscription, okay? And they audit you to see if you have someone in that area that has not paid to be a subscriber. And you're supposed to have that paperwork, but unless they're a subscription fire department, you don't have to have that.
Sounds like to me the fire chief needs to be here explaining.
Well, and I don't really know if he could either, because he hasn't been here in a while.
No, because when I came,
We probably,
this was going on
the
when I came.
state is the one that decides if you're a subscription or not a subscription, is that right, Donnie?
I'm not 100% sure there. I think the town can vote to be one or the other, I think.
Well, the
Clarify.
town of Talihina, I can assure you, is not a subscription fire.
And I'm not sure because
Blacksburg is, Buffalo Valley is.
that's why we need a policy manual.
Talihina's not. So
So
anyway, we need to find out about that. And if they're being, so what else, dear?
well, on this animal control fees, for a whole year, we collected $60. That's impossible, I would think, is it not?
You mean?
I mean,
fines
it says
or whatever?
$60.
A part of it on the historical, which would have been last summer, it may be that those receipts aren't entered yet. And one thing I did consider at the time, Dina, was the question on how to classify that, because Trudy and I were looking at it differently. But I dug through, and I know just since I've been here, Liddell, nobody's come in, maybe one
We
time.
got that one girl.
And I've been here 7, 8 months, and nobody's paid an animal control bill. No, it does not happen. Well, for one thing, do we pick up animals?
Well,
Yeah.
we did.
Do we not have a
We
registry?
were supposed to at one
Right.
time.
No, I mean, it's probably.
All we need to
one
do is look at the tickets and see who got tickets and find out, did they pay their fines or did they not?
Okay, but the fines go to the fines and forfeitures account, those are tickets, right?
They go
written by
off
the
different,
police
right.
department.
So
And
we don't
animal
need that
control
item.
fee, an animal control fee is when they,
The pound
bust their
fee.
animal out of jail.
That's
a
a
cover.
$30 pound fee.
Yes.
And there
that's-
has been fees paid, I know of myself.
We also have a registration fee that's not collected either, do we
Well,
not?
they're not registering the dogs, but they're gonna start.
Well, we've,
Oh,
We're gonna
that was in the paper, we're
have
trying to get a big drive
Yeah, but
together.
how many have you sold?
No.
That's what I thought, you got the tags, we're just not selling.
Right, we're going to, but
Only time I know they were sold is when the vet came and they registered the dogs on that day. The only ones I know of that was sold.
We can get the vet to come back.
Did you get Sean's
He
number?
won't come because we have our vet.
Sean's number?
And our
Sean.
city vet will
Oh,
not
I
do it.
thought she wanted me,
Our city
you want
vet
him
he
to
will
do
do it. He
I'm
just
sorry, I
won't do
thought you were talking about the
Yeah,
subscription
he's
fire
gonna charge you
department.
$30
No, I want you to
office
call
visit.
Sean.
In regard to
In
adopting
regards to
Sean
adopting
and
a
David's
vet.
number, yeah, okay.
Ask him what I asked.
Okay, here it is.
Thank you.
Yeah, I asked you to.
Sorry.
And he said I won't give any breaks. I was just looking for that.
I just think our numbers wouldn't be quite so bad if we
This doesn't
had.
look like my, ordinance book. I don't know what that is.
I thought you wanted this book. Have
Okay,
Janet, if they could be buried in somewhere, but my thing is this, based on just knowing what goes on here for the day-to-day for the last 7 or 8 months now, we don't
Okay.
take any of those fees.
that's fine. We'll check all of these. I don't know.
Do we have enough janitorial supplies and office supplies to get us through? Is that money all spent? Can we,
Okay,
Not
will you give me an account
Yes.
number?
5007?
Okay, 015007.
Yes.
Okay, so we're looking at the department.
How much is janitorial fees per month?
We pay a fee,
I mean, how much are we talking about, we're spending a month on toilet paper or whatever you're talking about?
$2,000 for the year, so.
Yeah, 2,000 divided by 12.
Yeah, so,
150-ish, 155.
I mean,
So-
that's your,
$166 a month.
166, so you're gonna take off 166 for April and May or whatever,
3
so
months.
you got $600.
We don't have
off
enough to get us
150.
through the end, but I will look and see if it's already spent.
well,
I mean, I see what we're saying, but unless you can shave something off of there that's gonna be a sizable amount of money, why would we even worry about that at this point?
Never
You know?
had,
well, the police
Every hundred
department's going to work without hiring a new dispatcher. We're going
Well, there
to do
you go,
that
that's
for-
money.
That's right.
That's several thousand
So,
dollars. Plus you have animal control, which I know what you're doing there. maybe
well,
nothing.
we've got a plan. We're working on it.
So you're talking $4,000 you're shaving off there,
Right.
off of. So if we can, talk thousands of dollars,
Can
then we
we-
might do something.
can we do away with the The dish for the police department and the water department.
And
I
how
don't
much
think
is that?
so. They have to have weather channels and they have to have, I mean, what is it, $50 a month?
$72.44 a month
For the police.
for the police department, $60.82 for the water plant.
So,
I don't know about the
what
water
are,
plant.
what
I
are
know
those
that they-
annually?
So that's
The
gonna
one
be,
at the water plant is also on there.
Okay.
But they can call down here. That's $729 a year for the
$729
water.
altogether, it's about
divided by 12
$1,500 a year for both.
Wayne is emergency management, and we just had this discussion on what is required of you when
Well,
you
we
come
use
in.
that for radar out there. When I'm working out there, or whoever's out there, we watch the weather. Because if I get tied up down here, I don't think to call nobody else out there.
Well, yeah.
You can't be left out there and not know what's going on in the world because you're out there in no man's land.
But do you have a laptop or something you take out there so you could pull radar up?
Yeah, I take a laptop out.
He can,
Until,
Yeah.
I mean,
Comes out there.
but nobody else
Right.
can.
And you have internet. That's what I'm saying, can we just pull it off of the internet out there and say that
Well,
it's
it's how much
$700 a year?
There again, we are focusing on 2013-14 budget. We're talking about probably something that could be good on 14-15 budget, right?
Mary?
But if we could save
But if we
that
say,
$200 here.
well, I'll tell you what a big one would be, to shut down that medical building. That's the biggest expense for
you
you.
can't shut down your
Well,
library,
I
you shut
know.
down the rest.
But this is ridiculous, $6,200 a year on electric.
I have a plan on
Yeah.
that.
And I talked to Lee. I just don't know what to do about it. But the
Well,
point
I'm
is,
wondering
the
how
chamber
much is
doesn't
the-
pay anything, the library doesn't pay anything. They get all utilities, free rent, and I can understand the library.
Well, because we have the agreement.
Right, and we have to provide the library.
I'm wondering, hey, Kenny, if you have any idea of if we shut off everything up there at the medical building except the library, you probably have no idea what the, never mind, that question shouldn't even be directed to you probably. I'm just trying to figure out how much those utilities, what is that back there? Is that central heat and air? Is that window units?
It's central heat and window units for air.
Oh,
So
okay.
that could be what's costing you some money is the window, but of course they're not there all the time.
I know that their electric bill last month was $600.
I'm just wondering if we shut it down, how much is that? Where is our problem at?
why
Is it
wouldn't we
the
just
library?
raise I'm just saying, why wouldn't we just raise the,
I don't
sorry.
think
Well,
we
you
get
gotta-
enough money.
Not on
Nobody,
the library, I mean.
I don't think you'll get enough money.
Okay.
I mean, I think you can you can charge that much for those little rooms that they're renting. Maybe go up on what's there, but I don't think it'd be enough money to pay.
I have a
the
proposal.
utility.
How close is the chamber to moving into the new building?
About a month. Well, not a month. It will happen probably by summer.
I mean, Vera's got, what, 3 rooms?
Yeah, but she wants to know, but the city agreed on one of the previous agendas to pay their utilities or their water, I think.
really?
Legally, we can't.
We voted to.
I know, but legally, we can't.
Okay. Well, we voted.
Because they're a private entity, they're not a public entity. And we legally cannot,
That needs to be put back on the agenda, don't
it does. That's the first thing that OML told us when we went to that workshop. You cannot pay Chamber of Commerce unless you contract with them to do something.
Okay. So we do a contract for tourism.
Yeah, I think it's more than that. I think
That's
it's
true,
like
but if we're having to cut budgets, I think we're gonna have to cut the
cut
chamber.
budget, yeah.
Well,
Now,
that's,
I mean, you gotta cut.
well, that's what
budget.
I think. I don't think we ought to pay anything.
But we voted.
And they also bill us for their janitorial supplies from time to time, which I haven't.
Well, it's because, I think that's the whole building. I mean,
Well-
that's not just the Chamber of Commerce's janitorial supplies.
And
That's for the whole building.
I think we need to get a better grip on that kind of stuff and maybe one person order for the whole town and then not separate, I mean,
Well, now they actually
mean-
come through here,
okay.
whatever.
Yeah, but still for entities that aren't part of the
I
city.
agree. Let's have one central location, throw out toilet paper, call the city maintenance crew, they'll take
Well,
them back.
they can go get the toilet paper, I mean, it needs to be divvied up, but,
Well, you don't need to have somebody babysitting and taking toilet paper.
That's what I mean.
You know,
but
whoever.
if it was more.
What's happening is the people that are renting that building are actually cleaning that building. There is a schedule.
Well, they-
So, yeah, they clean that building.
Well, they
but-
should.
Right.
The hallway or,
Yes, they clean all of it. The hallway, the doors, the trash. There's 2 public bathrooms in there and they clean both of those. So, They actually clean those.
So, to try to get closer to balancing on the medical building, why don't we raise it or charge a $50 a month utility fee?
Now,
Yes,
you
including the
can't do
Chamber
that
of Commerce.
tonight.
Well, not, I mean, well,
And
that's
if you,
not.
and if you
that's
wait
not-
until April, then you're gonna be able to start that in May. So why don't you just wait and do that on your new budget for June? Because you only get you 1 month.
So that's $250.
So we
Toward a
could,
$50,000 deficit.
but you're right on the,
Let's-
we've got, I mean, June 30th is the end
Right,
of the fiscal
right.
year.
I mean,
Somebody answer me one question, I'm kind of confused. What's the difference between water treatment and water distribution?
Once it leaves the plant, between the plant and the home is water distribution. That's your infrastructure in
Okay.
town and maintaining your water mains.
So the salaries and stuff under water treatment is out at the plant, and then the other one is
Yeah, and
maintenance?
the way I did it for
Okay.
that purpose is water treatment includes full-time and overtime of the other gentlemen that fill in. And as far as the separation between water distribution and sewer, it's a little bit arbitrary at this point, like we talked about earlier. For the purposes of this budget, some folks are considered water distribution and some are considered
And-
sewer.
This is my thing on, I think, and this will save us money. If they work the water plant, they don't need to be at the street department. They don't need to get paid for 2 jobs.
I don't think you are you?
I
Wayne,
think,
when you work the water plant, you work the town too?
I
Or
take
do you
off.
work either or?
I work both places, but I work during the day here, the evenings out there.
Oh, so you do
Yeah,
work both
see, and
places.
that's-
See, I thought you, when you
No.
worked out there, you didn't work during the day.
I
They're
work
not doing-
Wednesday,
you
I
used
work
to,
Wednesday
didn't.
night, but I take off Friday,
mhm.
so I take a day off. for it.
See,
So it makes up for
Right.
when you're working.
Right.
but still, that's working hours. I don't think they can possibly, I mean, that's like 16 hours a day if y'all work there and then pull a shift here. I mean, if you work all day at the street department and then go to the
Then
water.
then I go out there at 5.
Are you getting time and a
Right.
half for anything you work over 40 hours, or are you just getting the hourly
It's just the
rate?
hourly
Hourly
rate.
rate.
So you're not costing any more than?
No.
No.
Okay. Then if we just had somebody out there working another shift.
But when you combine the 3 of them or 4 of them, that it is quite a chunk of change when you work here and you work out
So you're
there.
saying work shorthanded in the maintenance department if they're working out there? Whoever's
Well, either
working
we
out
need to
there,
get, we've never replaced 3 people, either we,
replacing them.
I mean, but, this, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or they need to work something out where it's always covered, but, that's a pretty good little deal, I think.
Well, it's something we have to address for this next budget, that's for sure.
Well, one thing that we've discussed among the men out there and with Keith and Philip is possibly moving one of our street maintenance people over to the water plant. That will not get us totally covered, but it would cut down on those overtime hours a
But they
lot.
can't really
You're gonna-
afford to
you're
lose
gonna cut
anybody back
shorthanded
there.
out here. I mean,
We are gonna be shorthanded, we're gonna have to work a lot
so
smarter
you need
there.
to add, you need to
There's
say, who are you gonna pay that you're sending
There's
out there? Who are you
shorthanded
gonna
on it.
pay that
That's
you're gonna
exactly
hire? And are you gonna come out ahead? Which
Well,
you probably would.
Keith
You may not hire anybody, but you're not laying off anybody either.
Keith and I have been talking about, he thinks he can run it
Have
out
to
of
work
work.
shorthanded, I think.
We're just gonna, it's just a temporary
Well-
thing. It's not like it's forever.
I think you're working, how many you got a day working usually in the maintenance department?
5?
A day?
7 counting Keith.
Is that how many comes to work every day?
Yes.
Okay. And that's even if you work the water plant? Okay, I got you.
See, that's just, I just have an issue with that.
I wasn't aware they were
Yeah,
working,
they're getting paid
because they
here
used to
and
wasn't doing, well, they used to was
But now, one of Keith's
working.
many saving plan is if trying to cut down on those hours that we're paying,
Right,
is to try to give them an extra day off and for going out there. Keith has
which is
been
what Wayne's doing.
Talking
Okay,
about that.
but if they're getting paid for being out there, they don't need a day. I mean, that's double dipping, is it not?
Well, it's kind of like Rodney
If
does
you're getting-
dispatch at a lower rate, don't you, Rodney?
Yes.
When you do dispatch,
Their
you're not
rate's
getting
the
your,
same.
Their rate's the
Has
same.
anybody considered asking?
yours is lower, isn't it?
No, but theirs is the same.
That's what.
Oh, yeah,
right
theirs
now,
is
that's
the same.
currently
Oh,
what
and
it
now
is. It's
consider
totally
asking the
different.
engineer what the implication might be on operations of that plant once the project is complete?
Well, that's where we're having a meeting Friday, I
Oh,
hope.
awesome.
All of
See if we
that, all
can
of
do
that's
it.
gonna change because you're gonna have computerized stuff, so I feel like a a lot of your things is gonna change and all of your people aren't gonna be able to work
Right,
that.
right.
But,
But anyway, that's something for the next.
and Rodney, you're only working emergency backup with dispatcher, right? Like the agenda item.
And when we called OML, they told us exactly what we could
Right.
pay
Right.
and how we.
But
had to
you're
do it.
only emergency backup.
Right.
So unless it's,
He's the only other one that's OLED certified,
right,
correct, Chuck? Okay.
gotcha. Okay.
Did we ever get a hold of Sean?
Mary, did Sean answer you back?
I misunderstood a third time. I didn't realize you wanted me to call him right now. My apologies.
Yeah,
I'll
we're
take care
gonna
of that
vote.
right now.
Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am.
It's just my communicating, sorry.
No, you
I
were
was
fine.
talking about 3 or 4 different things, so.
I mean,
So that's.
That's
public-
that's something we have to address.
That's public
Yes.
works that, yeah.
I think
I
the
had it on the
employees
agenda
are
last
more
night.
than willing to do what they have to do to help us get
Sure.
through this crunch.
Sure.
And,
You got 7 every day, I'm sure you can afford that.
yes,
since
they,
you know.
and it just makes sense that if you work out one department, you don't spend another 8 hours working at the other department in the same 24-hour period.
Yeah, and I don't know where that puts us on labor laws either.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
I mean, we may think it's all right and it's not, and then find out a year from now or 2 years from now it's not, and then retroactive have to do something, and
He did
and that's
try to
not
do what's
good.
right from the beginning.
Yeah.
I know whenever I was having dispatch, I know we had to call and make sure exactly.
I know in police and emergency, it's a little bit different rules.
Well-
No, the OMA or whatever that's called said that he can, this is all he can make.
It's the
He
same
can't make
department.
any more than this.
If it's the same job.
See,
Same
and,
job.
well, it's the same department, not the
Right.
same job, and I.
Well, it's not
had
just
to-
that, but it's the hours you work. You can legally work 12 hours without it being overtime,
Yeah.
But
and
tell me
there's other
why-
places can't.
What
Tell
we
me
were,
why the street department and the water plant are different than that. I've never understood that because.
Because your
all-
street
Law enforcement
department is different.
Yeah.
24/7.
Yeah, police
Okay.
department and emergency, is emergency.
Okay.
when Trudy checked on that, now if this is factual, we can call back and double check. But when I asked that before when she was here, she was told, researched it and said, well, the water department is a separate department from your street and maintenance, so that they could work the two jobs. Now, if we want to double check that fact, it might not be a bad idea, but that is what we were told. at the
And
time.
I'm all for them making what they make during their, too, when they work an extra, but, I just don't think we need to have them working 16 hours a day.
And you guys are going to have to help me out on this. How much is comp costing us? I know
We
you've
got our
been,
comp down.
and I don't know how much the comp is costing us anywhere else, and we need to
I
look
don't think
at,
we have any comp at all in any departments right now.
really?
And
I don't think
There's
Liddell.
very
We still got a little bit in the dispatch, but it's
Right.
slowly coming
And
back.
it's going to go up a little bit when they work short, they're gonna work short.
We did
of
have tons
dispatcher.
of comp time on the books, we don't know.
It's less than a week in the street department.
Is it?
Well,
That's
see,
not bad.
We have less than a week, it seemed like.
and what I,
Yours is,
you know, even on like the vacation time, they accrue it and it goes over. I
I've
think-
never understood
No,
that.
I think
You
if
need to
you
have a
don't-
set amount and
I
that's
think
it.
we ought to have a cutoff on how much can be carried over. They can take it or they lose it.
We do have,
It is, it's capped
yeah,
At what?
it's
to.
Yeah, that's so much.
It shouldn't be over about
You guys
60.
are getting,
No, it
you
should
guys
never
are,
be that.
it's accruing as you're working, you know,
Yeah.
like,
right.
you
Well,
should
this
be
is like
set so many days, you should be, hey, you get so many weeks of vacation a year and that's it. Instead of, the more you work, the more time.
And
you get.
it's carried over from year to year.
Because I mean, I don't know how many weeks that the departments get, but they're a bunch.
Right,
Well, I
and,
mean, you can't sit here either and say, okay, just like we're gonna be shorthanded now, okay, I'm working on Tuesdays, so we don't have people that don't build comp time. But then you're gonna have days that I just can't because I'm working my other job, somebody's gonna be building comp time here.
well, I'm
Okay,
not talking about.
But I'm just saying, if they can't take off, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to say, okay, you gotta use this time by a certain time, or you're gonna
I'm
lose it. but
talking
they can't really
vacation
take off.
time, I'm not talking comp time, I'm talking vacation time. It
What?
carries up, does comp time?
But what we try to do on our vacation or comp time is if somebody wants to walk out of here and quit, we have to pay them for their holiday and comp time.
And that's.
Where we don't on our vacation because it's capped. So what we try to do is we try to get everybody It's comp time and holidays used, so if they was to quit, we don't have to pay them $2,000 or $3,000.
Well, and that's what we've written a couple of checks that were
I mean,
$9,000 and $10,000 because it was
so a
carried
lot of
over
our
so
guys, a
much.
lot of our people has got so many holiday comp times, it seems
It's
like.
because you're working shorthand.
Yeah.
Right, it seems like we can't get
And
we
caught
just
up.
can't
you
do
should
anything
not
about
be the dispatcher in the police department. We should be able to hire,
Yeah.
and I know it's not your fault, but we should be able to manage to hire enough people to run.
And we
the
know that, but we just
But
can't do it right
we're just
now.
doing what we can.
And they
to make
know
things
it's,
work.
That's why we're up against what we're up against. Like Gabby, she wasn't hired to work the, I don't know, we keep trying to hire part-time people to take care of all that, but it just doesn't seem to work.
Oh,
I tried to get my people off last year. Gabby was, I wanna say 20 days short of being full-time.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there's times where she has to,
well,
I
sure.
mean,
Yeah,
it's
It's
never
just-
ending.
Right. Put it in my mind, somebody that's worked here as long as you and Jack have worked, how many weeks of vacation do you get a year? 4.
Or,
4, and that's the cap?
that's it.
yes.
Okay, and
Well, that's
then,
not that many.
No.
So it's
Uh-uh.
like,
See, I didn't
call
realize
holidays and all that.
that it was
when
the
you're
comp
getting
time
that-
that was accrued.
so one of our
That's
newer
right.
officers gets, how many?
10 hours a month.
10
10
hours
hours a
a
month.
month. So if they work a full year,
For the fourth year, then it goes to 13.3.
So they get
So it's your
24
comp
hour,
time and your
Yes,
holiday
it's
time
the
that's
comp
killing
time
you,
and holidays.
24 days a
that's
year?
killing us.
because they're off a whole lot
Something
more.
like that.
Yes.
a new hire gets over 3 weeks.
No, new hire only gets,
You said 10 hours,
yeah, they get 10 hours, they get 10 hours a month.
A month.
hours a month.
A month.
Dispatcher is
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's 16 hours, so that's basic, or,
and that's set up by
160
your state organization.
120.
Right, that's about, yes.
so that's 120 hours a year, which is 3 weeks.
Is that probably for burnout and stress of the jobs that you have?
Well, and like Gina and I were saying, I think we were confused with the vacation time compared to the comp
Yes.
time. and the
Yeah.
holiday
That's where I was
time.
confused.
It's not the vacation time.
All right.
Yeah, our
It's
vacation
getting it.
time can only go.
And your comp time and stuff is building up because we're working shorthand.
And the comp time is what, it rolls over, right? It rolls over.
Right.
You just have
And
to-
that's what we were saying, we try to use it as much as we can, because
Right.
if somebody quits, then we don't have to pay all this
Right,
money.
Right.
And then we're
And
only
we
liable for
appreciate
this.
that
Right.
very much.
Yeah.
Even
Oh,
though
yeah.
their vacation still builds, they're only getting paid for that much.
Right,
So,
Right.
okay.
But at some point, if we can get to the point that we can hire enough people to do the jobs that need to be done, we'll probably be better off
Right.
because it's less money.
I don't think that we're in the, there's many
That ain't gonna happen
towns that
tomorrow.
have this same dilemma right now that are
There's
working.
many towns that don't have somebody covering 24/7, which is sad.
That's exactly right.
So we're gonna.
So we're gonna work with 4
and we
dispatchers.
may have to do that, we may have to shut down at night or something, and not with the officer, but with the dispatcher or something, we may have to bump some stuff around.
Well, and that's one option that we may have to consider too, is 911 as our dispatch.
So it's kind of like everything new. Me and Jack's been talking about this forever. I don't care what it is, it's new, it's got bugs in it. Until the bugs are out, I'm interested in it, but I'm not
Yeah.
care to switch over until the bugs are
Till we
out.
figure it out, but that is an option we need to probably start thinking about, at least during the
We're
evening or
already-
night or something, I don't know, half a day anyway,
Me
you
and
know.
Jack and Rob and John, we've been
Mhm.
talking about this for a while.
We don't know. Keith.
Mary, no
We're just
answer.
not ready.
No, I'm just waiting to hear back. I also emailed him in case he will respond to that one.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna make a motion that we adopt the 2013-14 budget. We're gonna be in trouble if we don't adopt a budget, so how are you gonna get out of being in trouble? You're in trouble if you don't adopt one, you're in trouble if you do adopt one, so I'm gonna adopt, I make a motion to adopt the budget,
As is,
as is.
as this one.
We can change the 2014-15 budget in June.
Okay. I second the motion.
I have a second, any more discussion?
I just think we ought to try to cut it back, so.
Can you cut it back and,
I can't cut it back.
But if you're over the budget, don't matter if you're 20,000 over, 150,000 over, you're over the budget. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right?
I know we don't want to talk about it, Jackie, but
No, we want to talk about
Well-
it, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah, I
And we
just
can
like-
shade little things all night long, but, I mean, I'm just saying, unless we can shave it 150,000, we're still gonna be over the budget,
I
right?
think when we get the new budget in 14, 15, that all this stuff that we're talking about,
Yeah,
I
it
think
definitely needs to be changed,
applied.
and your janitorial and all of that needs
Yes.
to be addressed
It
then.
needs to be,
But I'm
But
just
most of
saying,
this has already been spent
Yes.
anyway.
yes, this is
Yes.
all done.
Yeah,
Except for the pool. And I'm-
Well,
Well, actually, that was spent last year.
Well, I tell you
yeah,
what,
you're not gonna spend
I think
that
since we
this
raised
year.
it to $3 for people to get in the pool, I don't
You're
know.
not gonna have any
You're not gonna
people.
have anybody there anyway.
Well, then we don't need to open it.
Well, that's about like shutting down the library.
I'd rather shut down the swimming pool than
Or the
cut wages or
Try
lay
shutting
people
down
off.
the senior citizens or something like that, and see if you don't have a ride on your hands.
They can pay their own phone bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I can pay
They
their own phone
have
bill.
45.
But I'm just saying, if you don't, and we gotta do something on the motion soon, but I'm just saying, unless you get all of that off of that budget, you're still, and if you vote for it, you're still gonna be voting for the
Well,
budget.
and here's the thing.
Right?
We haven't had a budget in 6 years anyway, and
It's not
5 years.
Yeah.
Have we approved one of these in 5 years?
Yes,
Yes, we
we approve
have.
one every year.
Well, has it been
We just
sent in,
haven't-
excuse me,
We've spent
excuse
over
me,
the budget.
excuse me.
You're
Did
excused,
we-
go for it.
Did we send in our survey to the state auditor's office like we're supposed to every year?
We're working on 2010 right now.
That's my point.
No. The audit,
So we
no.
haven't filed one in the last 4 or 5 years.
The audit, baby, this is the budget.
Who has the floor, please?
I do.
I thought I had the floor.
No, not yet.
Okay,
This
you
is
tell me when I have the
budget.
floor and I'll speak.
Okay, let me finish. This is the budget, not the audit. Okay? Do you understand that?
I understand that very well.
Okay, let's move from there then. What's your question?
This budget has to be sent to the state auditor's office every year. When we approve one in the city, it's a state budget survey.
Yes.
And my point is, we haven't done it in the last 5 years, so why would I vote on something that might get me legally in trouble without knowing the facts
Well, you
and
weren't
wait till
here
next
the
month?
You weren't here the previous year, so you don't have to worry about that.
Well, I do if I
So if you
vote
don't
on
want to
this
vote
one.
for it, I understand.
Okay, and then my other point is,
As far as I
See-
know, the state auditor hasn't been sent anything. That's not my job to send that.
That's-
And if Trudy did, she didn't do a lot of things, so why would I think she sent that?
well, it's ultimately comes to us.
Sure.
And my other point is, it's gonna take more than cutting utilities or phone bills. We have to be thinking hard between now and June to figure out how we're gonna cut $150-something thousand out of this budget. Plus, not in this budget, is $40,000 worth of audits that we have to have done. And it's not even
Do you have
in
an
this.
estimate on the audits? Because I don't.
Audits will run you at 8 to 10,000 apiece.
Mary, did you get an estimate on this today?
I
Maybe
haven't, but
5,000?
typically, his are significantly less expensive, this gentleman that they've been
We
using.
paid for half
I
a
did
tin.
request a quote though, I'm accustomed to the numbers that you're seeing at the 30,000. For some reason, this gentleman is really.
Well, I'm talking about per year.
And I understand that you are too, but I'm thinking his run significantly less than that. Here, I'll have a number for you soon.
So we're looking at not only a $150,000 deficit, but we're gonna have more than that this next year because we have to do budget, have to do audits.
What can we cut there again?
I don't know, I'm asking for suggestions, that's why I want these guys to be thinking about
These
it.
guys, this is this board's.
I know, but it affects these people, so I wanna hear from them too.
It does, but I don't think there's anybody here in this room that can tell us how do you suggest we cut $150,000 deficit?
I don't have a cut, but I need to stir the pot a little bit. I need even more than that for two reasons. One, we still owe back payroll taxes that aren't reflected in this budget. And two, one thing that I would really implore the council to consider anytime you're making cuts is the fact that as it is, our honeys are hanging out there when it comes to emergency, excuse my mouth. Emergency management, and I'm not talking about the emergency management department per se, but a water main break, a sewer catastrophe, the EPA adding a new regulation, all of those things are things we have to be prepared for. And so I think what I would encourage y'all to do while making these tough decisions is not only to bridge this gap, but you need to go further or look for ways to go further, or you're not going to be prepared for, and unfortunately, an inevitable emergency that will happen in one of the departments.
Yep. I agree.
So, we have a motion and we have a second on, I'd like to know, we're still gonna have a discussion. what is the solution if you don't okay the budget?
And this one is the
It's
2013.
I mean, what is it?
My
What is
my
the
suggestion
solution?
was to find out the legal ramifications between now and the first of the month before we vote on it, but you do what you want to, but I'd like to know what my legal
So if we get an answer from
ramifications.
Sean and we find out it's non-illegal for us to vote tonight, you're gonna vote yes or you're gonna vote
I'll
no?
vote no if he tells me it's illegal.
But you'll vote yes if he tells you it's okay.
As long as the legal advice gives me, I've got something to fall back
But
on.
if we don't vote on this tonight, what do we get together for?
To discuss it. I mean,
I just wanna know what
there's a
you-
motion,
what
I
you gonna-
mean, y'all can take the vote, I'm not saying.
No, we're still in discussion, see if he'll answer your phone.
Okay.
I'm sure he's,
I don't have mine or I text him, sorry.
Like I said, until I know.
we just need to get it to where we can move on.
But I think we ought to cut as much as we can. But
Between now and June,
I think
You wanna cut that
we
out?
need to do.
I don't think we can do
No.
much between now.
No.
June, I think we gotta cut lots of
We
things.
got to cut a lot of things.
Can we kind
Lots
of,
of things.
on the.
And unless you just flat don't pay something between now and now and when the new budget comes out, I don't know how what you're gonna shave off of there.
But I
Well-
think come July, or when we start the new budget, or when we discuss it, I think we'll have a lot of
Yeah, Johnson.
ideas, on where we
Did you
can
have
shave
something?
fund up.
I thought I did, and I didn't either, so
I thought I
I
did
sent his
too.
personal email.
I think I.
And to be quite honest with you, we're not looking at the previous month, we're actually looking at April, May, and June.
That's what I was.
As far as what we're gonna spend. So we have to determine how much we're willing to spend in April, how much we're willing to spend in May, how much
We're
we're
not
willing
gonna
to spend.
spend anything except the bare necessities.
Well, and what are those bare necessities?
Well,
You know,
you're gonna have to pay your employees. You're gonna
because,
have to
because
pay
this
your
is
taxes.
this for the full,
For the entire fiscal
You're
year.
gonna have to
fiscal
pay your
year.
utilities.
so,
And then it's the projection for April, May, and June.
Okay.
With really, I mean, I didn't throw a nut truck in there or something like that. It's
Right.
just, if we keep sailing how we're keep sailing based on historical information, this is where we're gonna end up for the year. That's the way I did this one versus having the opportunity to project one in theory. You know, I or whoever's put in charge would go to Keith and say, what capital improvements do you need this year? Likewise with Jack, which tried to work on that months ago, or he did complete something like that. But we're already 3/4 of the way through, so this one I approached a little bit differently.
so I could take this 797 divided by 12, and that tell me how much our projected spending are for each month till we close out the fiscal year.
Yes.
Right. But I don't think, I mean, unless it's utilities, unless it's payroll,
Right,
unless
we're
it's
not
whatever.
spending, we've cut.
What else is there that
That's
we're
what I'm
gonna
saying.
spend? What else is there that we would purchase between now and the new year?
Well, and let me also add to that, Jackie, you know, many months ago when I came here, the existing council each went to their departments for whom they were responsible and said, no spending unless we have to have it. So very simply for me, when I recapped those many months that I did already to project, there was nothing in there for me that I could see to cut. Because these gentlemen in charge had already done that. So,
Right, I mean, there's no frivolous,
in my opinion, right.
you know. There's nothing else to it.
Exactly. So we.
Okay, I've got a motion in a second, so we're just gonna have to move on with it, I think. So, vote.
Donnie,
No?
Donna,
yes.
Rhonda,
No.
Gina,
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. Okay, item number 8.
Before we go to 8, we did that ordinance last month on the wolf deal.
Yes.
What's the penalty?
I've got it back on the other agenda to, discuss that.
Okay. Because I saw there wasn't any penalty phase of it in here. and
But we had, what we need to decide, is if we,
want to charge the same thing we do on every animal. What I was thinking about, Donnie, is I think when they register it with the city, they ought to pay a $25 fee. And once they have a violation, I think they should have to pay.
With the wolf, you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
My concern is, tell me if I'm wrong, but didn't the state rule that we can't single out a particular breed?
No.
No.
We don't in our ordinances, that's why it's not breed specific. But I researched this pretty good and every county is
I have a
doing
lot of
something.
copies in my office that, there are numerous towns.
Yes.
Is a
Numerous
wolf not
towns
considered a
that
wild
have an
animal
ordinance
instead of a
And-
cat?
like that.
And I have,
Their fees.
So they're
are-
not considered canine, but,
Right, I think
Okay.
they
that's.
are by the
They
state
are.
because they say they're legal, but I have a big thing
Oh, I
I
have
printed off
numerous towns
that
have
Photo
ordinance,
actually.
no, but they don't have
Was-
any wolves at all, none.
was pretty good. So, and
okay, I mean, that's my concern was basically that I didn't see a penalty in there for anything, and what are the penalties?
And what I figured was it would go off the penalties that we already had set, but I have it back on the agenda
Okay.
to see if we can do a little different with that.
And
Because if we're not serious, I mean, if we don't do this, it's just gonna keep on, we've got to,
And not to try to drag this meeting on, because I think everybody's kind of tired anyway, but part of this meeting was supposed to talk about goals. And what do we want to see our town a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So I'd just like for y'all to be thinking about that, and let's start looking at what our goals are. So when we do formulate budgets, we can hopefully eventually get to the point where we can put some capital outlay in our budget, because I'd like to see the maintenance guys have a sewer machine.
exactly.
And that's a $4,000 or $5,000
But that's what we
expense,
pay
but-
road rooter every time they have to come in.
You know, that's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'd like for us to establish what our goals are for the different departments and stuff, and for the
Such
town
as
itself,
wish
and
list,
a wish list, so we can eventually try to budget some capital outlay into the budget for it, and try to take care of some of these things.
It's I don't see that happening probably in the next budget we have.
But here's the chance, though.
In the near future.
If I know that maintenance needs a sewer machine, or if I know that the police department needs a computer for the car, radio, or whatever,
Right.
if I'm in a situation where I'm talking to somebody and they say, well, we've got an excess sewer machine, hey man, I know we need it.
Right.
But if we don't talk about it, and I know what everybody's want on their wish list, if one of us is in a situation that something comes up, we say, oh, we don't need that. I'd rather know what everybody wants so we can try to help out.
Commissioners.
But we need to communicate that amongst ourselves.
And that's why you're the
you know.
liaison, we're the liaisons to come back to the board and say, hey, you know, the maintenance department really needs this, or the police department really needs this. And I think that's what we do with those commissioner jobs, makes it easier.
Well, I know what my maintenance guys have done, they've parked 2 of their trucks to try to help us out and not use those trucks.
I think they've done everything from getting.
I don't know if
emails
those guys,
to faxes.
if we can do anything like that in the other departments, but they are trying, you know, to cut back as much as we can on that. And talking about our goals, my main goal is to get our audits caught up so we can apply for a grant, because I want
Yeah.
to improve the sewer, so we can go out here and pick up Rock and H, the hardware
Yeah,
store,
your
all that.
infrastructure.
Our infrastructure, that's where the town's growing, that's where we need to go.
And that's where your money's.
That will
going.
get us in the black, but
That's
we've got to
right.
spend money before we can do that, but we can't even go out and look for the grants until we get these
Yeah,
audits out.
can't apply for any
Basically,
grants.
this last year, we've overspent,
Big time.
big time,
Big time.
overspent.
Yeah,
But we weren't aware that we
It
were
was,
overspending, and so
and
you
see-
can't just dwell on something.
and that's why
It's,
I feel so
Here.
strongly that our employees did not do this. The
No.
person that did this got no consequences or anything, and it just screwed them all of us, and it's just not their fault. But they're gonna have to pay
Right.
for it.
but we gotta do everything we can just to try to move forward and to heal from it.
Yes,
So, okay, in item number 8,
I make a motion to adjourn.
we have a motion. Second. And a second, any more discussion?
Donnie,
Yes.
Donna,
Yes.
Rhonda,
Yes.
Tina,
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. Call this meeting to order for the Board of Trustees of the Talihina Public Works Authority. Item number 3, discussion action on 2013-2014 budget.
I make a motion that we approve this budget.
We have a motion.
Yeah.
I second that motion. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
No.
Donna,
Yes.
Rhonda. Tina.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes. Item number 3.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion? Second. And a second. Any more discussion? Vote.
Donnie,
No, yes.
Donna. Yes. Rhonda.
Yes.
Tina.
Yes.
Jackie.
Yes.
High fives. I'm